and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Bold Prediction Sports and Media Podcast. And as usual, I'm that dude with the beard. He's Mr. KC. And once again, we thank y'all for being with us here on this Wednesday night. Prelude though it's 8:23, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow, 8:24, paying homage to the late great goat Kobe Bryant. 2K coming soon. We're thinking about you all the time, being the legacy you left, the legacy that you got most folks dreaming about, on and off the court. But anyway, Mr. KC, my man, how you doing? What's going on with?
Oh, doing pretty good. Getting excited for this NFL season coming up. We got a couple preseason games already in the books. We had a excellent UFC fight this last weekend. I don't know if everybody caught the Sean O'Malley versus uh, Aljo Sterling, but it was a very entertaining little match. The first round was kind of boring, but that second round, woof, talk about some action.
Happened a little too early, but still fortuitous on my end. Shout out to Sean O'Malley, and shout out to Aljamain Sterling for being exactly who I knew he was. So that's how that came about. Thank you for the bread.
Mm,
Thank you. Shout out to MGM Sports Betting. Gamble responsibly and legally, folks.
yeah, absolutely. It was a fun one to watch. I was kind of surprised how much of an underdog they had O'Malley as, but that's just one of those things that happens, I suppose. Just the guy's supposed to not perform at the level, and all of a sudden he does. Prove a lot of
Well,
haters
yeah, they
wrong.
wanted them right. They wanted them to be the underdog, but in my opinion, he was the clear cut favorite. Like I said, Aljamain Sterling won the title on a technicality. I mean, I'm not too impressed with him. I'll just leave it at that. Not saying that he's not a good fighter, but some people are clearly destined for gold and championships. And Sean O'Malley has been on the rocket, and I'll say scorching at least the last 4 years, from what my memory serves. So, shout out to the champ once again, man. Sean O'Malley.
Yeah. And the problem with Sterling is he really only had that one takedown attempt in the first round. He spent, the first round letting O'Malley kind of fill out that range, that distance that he needs to make
Hmm.
things happen. And sure enough, they both decided to turn it up a notch in the second, and it was bad.
And boop. And how he usually knocks most folk out. You going down low, and he just kind of scoots his legs back a little bit and just boop, catch you on the way. Good night. Yeah, it was an
Man,
entertaining second round for sure. Like I said, I thought it was going to happen in the third, but it happened one round early. Got to clean that up. But otherwise, fortuitous event for me, especially by the way it ended. Um, and shout out, like I said, once again to Aljo for being who I thought he was. Like I said, he was a paper champ. No, and this ain't a personal attack, but it's just what it was. Look at how he won the belt. You tell me different in the comments. What you got to think? Oh,
right.
not what you got to think. What you got to say about that, Mister Casey?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Nail, the hammer meets the nail right there. I'm excited to see the Cheeto versus the Sugar Sean rematch. I'm pretty sure that's almost a guaranteed kind of a deal.
Oh yeah,
And then maybe
I
even
think
the
it's gonna be
easiest
a,
fight for Sean O'Malley on the next five coming up.
especially to be defending the title coming out. I would take that fight. Um, Use it as a stepping stone to go ahead and get ready to run through the division. Honestly, I think he'll make a pretty decent run, dude. We'll see what the future holds, man. But right now, it's looking awfully Irish.
Yeah, and I think that was your one chance to get him as an underdog in a fight. I think the any more chances of that have kind of gone out the window. Hope you were
Hmm.
able to take advantage of that while you can. Speaking of taking advantage, we We're going to talk a little NFL sports bets predictions for the season. Little Make Your Money brought to you by MGM Sports. The link is in the description to sign up. They match deposits and all that fun stuff. So, if you choose to follow along with some of our hot gambling takes, feel free to do so responsibly.
Definitely do so responsibly, and ladies and gentlemen, and only at your own discretion. Because if you want God honest truth, MGM has been good to me in the best we've been making. Me and plenty of people been making money. If you want to make money, you got a few extra dollars. It ain't got to be a lot of money. You ain't gonna get rich, not overnight. But you need some extra cash. You might want to put something down on these bets we talking about here. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I know I am responsibly and legally.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's start off with a fun one. It's a regular season parlay. This is going to be picking teams to have at least 12 wins. They've got some interesting ones. And kind of a fairy tale dream one here that I think is a terrible bet, but has fantastic odds at plus 5,000 is the Browns, Cowboys, and Lions all to get 12 regular season wins.
Woo! And you've got to be bold to take that bet because we know good and well that is definitely not happening.
Yeah,
There's
I
just
would
no
feel
way.
more comfortable making a bet saying neither of the three actually hits 12.
Yeah, not even close. And now if you would have said maybe about 6 wins, we could talk. Maybe.
Now, another one that I think is kind of out here to take your money. This is another 3-win or 3-team 12-win parlay, and that's going to be the Bills, Bengals, and Chiefs to win 12 regular season games
And
plus
that's another trap bet.
750. Yep.
Another trap bet, ladies and gentlemen. I think because we know good and well that the Bills won't be there, not in that win category, and I don't think the Bengals will be either. So, definitely
Mm.
not. Kansas City's your only safe bet in that whole situation, and I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't touch that. Like I said,
And
like
some
Mr.
of
Casey
that,
said, designed to take your money.
yeah, and some of that depends on how soon Chris Jones actually comes back too. Could be a kind of a rough start to the Chiefs season without him.
Oh yeah, very well could be. But with the amount of money he's set to miss, if he does skip regular season games, I think he shows up game one. I don't think he's ready to miss out on some more money,
Yeah.
especially versus that and franchise tag futures with what you done, drop another 10 million off that. He'll be there. And my thing is, on the outside looking in, like I said, he's done this before. I'm not shocked that he's done it again. And my only thing is, just like before, you wasn't in the cream of the crop then, and you're kind of not in the cream of the crop now. I mean, you're closer. You're on the outside looking in. You're top three. I'll give you that. Top 3 or 4. I'll give you that. But dude, to want that kind of money that Aaron Donald is getting and to get paid more than Quentin Williams, with the lack of said production that you haven't shown. Like I said, you're not getting Aaron Donald number. You wouldn't even getting Quentin Williams number. Like last year is your golden ticket year, and I understand you want to cash in, but baby boy, we've learned that with Justin Houston. We don't do that no more. We learned that with Eric Berry. We don't do that no more. And I'm sorry that the boys before you paved the way for us to have understanding that we don't do that no more. Like I said, I mean, I'm sorry, Chris. I really wish that you just come on in and play ball. I mean, you acting like you're not getting millions and millions of dollars now, but to want anything more than 26 is absurd. 27
I
at the
don't,
most, I would give this man 27.5 maybe.
I'd give him 30. I'm fine with 30. The Chiefs don't spend no money on the defense. Without Chris Jones, it's the least the amount in the league spent on the defense. With Chris Jones, it's the third least. It's we're not out here paying anybody on the defense, And if you're going to pay anybody on the defense, it should be Chris Jones and Bolton. And that's it. Those are the two.
I
Those are the only two
understand,
guys. And you
but
got to
like I
pay
said,
somebody.
they're not paying nobody on offense either. So I mean,
Uh,
that's the only thing. I mean, you can say Pat's getting paid, which he is getting paid in all reality. But I mean, I'm just looking at position and spectrum. Like it just
right.
it doesn't make sense as a team because if you give Chris Jones that money, then that means you're not getting Willie Gay or some of them guys back who might become integral. I mean, not integral. I'm sorry, irreplaceable pieces in this defense. So I mean, we'll just have to see. We'll have to play it by ear on that because I mean,
Yeah,
we could always find another tackle maybe who might be a beast.
right.
But then again, you might not. But are you willing to pay a dude who's
Maybe.
not even the
Jeez.
best money, and he's already getting? No,
I know.
this is the
He
end of
had,
the line, dude.
he had the
I just
best.
wouldn't
He
do
was the best last season, though. So I don't know.
it.
But let's
Yeah.
move on to some other. Let's move on to some other fun parlays, some other season bets. Here goes a fun one. We kind of a two for one. These are the same bets, same odds, but different ways. Is any team going to go 0-17? And is there any team that's going to go 17-0? Yes, get you plus 1,000. No, get you negative 2,500.
And if I had to put money on any team, actually, you could almost do this for three teams. If you just wanted to spread out a little $15. Like I said, either way you'll net some return. Or matter of fact, let's do $10 a pick. How about I mean we do that. If
Yeah,
anything, I would go with, of course, the perennial front runner, Arizona Cardinals, to go 0-17. I
very.
would
It could
also
happen.
pick Dude, I would also pick the Carolina Panthers somehow, some way. Oh
Um,
goodness, somehow, some way. But that would be
I'm
hard, I
also a fan of the
guess.
Packers possibly doing it, but I think it's just such a low chance that they go 0-17 that I'd have trouble touching it. Either one of these 0
Right.
and 17 and 0 would be kind of rough
And
deal
see,
for me.
my other one, my third team, just out of pure, I would hope it happened, would be the Denver Broncos. But they're in the position
Right?
to do that anyway. So why not? You know.
Why not?
And
Here
of
goes
course, if
another
we're
fun
picking
one.
teams to go, oh, I
Yeah,
was
to
going to
go
just other
17-0.
spectrum. This has got to be
Yeah,
Kansas City. And if you pick anybody else but Kansas City, you're dreaming. That's
I
just
could
kind of what it
see.
is.
I mean, if you're going to throw another team out there, you might go Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is the second best quarterback in the league type deal.
They're
Um,
losing their first game.
yeah, I don't see. I wouldn't pick any team to go 17-0. But let's say someone wanted to say yes, then they could also look at this next bet, which is, does any team go 20-0 and win the Super Bowl, which is a plus 4,000. So if you're gonna pick the Chiefs to go 17-0, you almost need to just double down and go 20-0 and hit that plus 4,000.
And that'll be the most insane, sane bet you can make if that makes sense to y'all. Because a lot of people don't think it could
Right.
happen. But dude, it could happen. These dudes, it could
I
happen.
think that, yeah,
They can be the
I don't
one.
see it happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's to me what that bet
Ooh.
is how that's the reason the hotels in Vegas are so big and fancy and nice.
And the
That they
pillows are
don't build it
soft.
in the middle of nowhere for no reason,
Right. No, for sure. Uh, Definitely could be a trap bet, but then at the same time, maybe it's time for them to make history again. They got to give some undefeated team a Super Bowl win too. So why not be Kansas City?
Right.
Let's get the rolling.
A-
They gave us history
And it is
last year. Let's do a little more.
it's an interesting schedule too. Here we go. Let's look at some three-team season playoff parlays. These three teams to make the playoffs. Let's see if I see an interesting one here. I think you might like this one. The Falcons, Eagles, and Ravens all to make the playoffs at plus 320.
Ooh, I don't think I picked the Eagles to make the playoffs though. When I'm thinking back on my list, I don't even think I had them as wild card.
Well, let's
But
move up to slightly better odds.
that would be amazing.
I
I
know
do.
you'd be a fan of it.
Yeah, no, that would. It's intriguing. It really is. It could happen if the Eagles could find some way to get that wild card.
I like this next one too, and it's going to be the Saints, Vikings, and Niners all to make the playoffs for plus 300.
Now, if you want to talk about probably the surest bet out of a three-team combination that we've heard so far, this is probably the one. Uh,
Mm.
the
Yeah, I like this
Niners.
one a lot.
The people are high on the Niners and Purdy and camp, but of course that's always the media. They got to be high on them because they're not letting Trey Lance play. So the key word is they got to be high. So uh, yeah, that one's probably the most accurate because the Niners can still make the playoffs in a wild card. It can still happen. So yeah, that's a good one. That's worth putting a little $10 on. I throw a unit on it.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that one quite a bit. I was a big fan of that one. Let's go to some oddball ones that might actually possibly hit. Actually, I like this one almost.
Talk about. Tell me,
This
because
is a
if it's the
bad
one
one.
I'm thinking, let's talk
Is the
about it.
Dolphins, Seahawks, and Buccaneers all to make the playoffs plus
Oh no, it
fifteen
wasn't that
hundred.
one. I don't know. That's definitely a dream because Miami's not going to the playoffs for sure. I
Well,
know the
I
Seahawks will
think the
be
only
there.
one that's hard in that one is the Bucks.
Yeah, it's hard for me to picture the Dolphins winning the AFC East though,
We
especially
can get a wild
now.
card spot too. We got a couple
Yeah,
wild
but will
card
you
spots.
though? Because Baltimore's going to get a wild card spot after the Steelers win the North, and then more than likely maybe the Chargers get one, and then the Texans get the other one, and or the Jets. I keep forgetting about them guys.
There's no bad
We'll
odds.
see.
I like that.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, no, that's not bad. One that I had my eye on,
Let's see. Yeah,
which is
there's some
probably a
interesting
really
ones.
good bet, would be the Jets, the Giants, and the Ravens all to make the playoffs. Now I like that. I like the way that sounds.
Jets,
That says
Giants, and Ravens.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That that
New
does sound
York,
nice
New
for me. I
York,
don't think I
and
see that
Mer
one.
is plus six twenty
Yeah, that
five.
one's not showing up on my list. Yeah, that's not on my list. So I like that one. Oh, okay, I see it now. Yeah, the 625 stood out.
Oh,
All right. Yeah. That's not a terrible
now
one either
that's a,
for 625.
I'm I'm trying to tell you that's one you might throw a unit or two on because all three of them
Right.
have a good shot. Honestly, I think I'm pretty sure I picked the Jets to get in the playoff spot when we actually did the picks. Just not sure we have to go
Yeah.
back. I know I picked the Giants and the Ravens for sure. I said the Ravens was going to be the fifth seed.
Yeah, I
So
believe you did predict all three of those. That is, and especially at a 625, I think
dude,
that is going to be the best value in that category. That's the three oddball teams to get you some money for that bet. It's the
right.
first, I'd say that's the first bet of the night that I would actually consider putting a unit on.
A unit on that will net you $72.50 right now.
Hey, that's not
And
bad.
we're just
That's ten
talking
dollars,
one
folks.
unit, just
Yeah,
$10
one ten.
unit, folks. Right? Yes, sir. Mr. Casey's on it. Like you said, that's just one $10 unit, and it'll net you pretty good cash. Like I said, what's wrong with quadrupling? Well, what's wrong with just moneying up? Let's just leave it at that. You got to do that. I ain't the
Right.
mathematician, but I'm coming up. You got to put it that way. Uh,
The highest. Let's do some passing stuff. Let's do the highest individual passing yards in a game. Does anyone throw over 500 yards for the season?
in one game, I don't see that one. But what are the odds on it? You said it just depends on person, or how do they got that set
It's
up?
negative 110. So
Ooh.
If you bet 100, you get 90. You win 90.
Right. Well, the only person I'm comfortable saying, well, there's three people that can make this happen. One is
Yeah.
Sir
Oh
Patrick
yeah.
Mahomes. I believe can make this happen. The other
Gino
person
could.
who I think you took the words right out of my mouth. I think Geno Smith could have
Mhm.
that kind of game this year. I really do. And the last person, I know they won't see it coming, Derek Carr. He has a prime
Mhm.
opportunity to do that in plenty of time during that schedule.
Yeah. And another
So,
three I'm thinking of is Herbert. Herbert could throw five. Burrow could. He's good for five. And then another wild card is probably Jared Goff. I could see him
yeah,
later in the season getting a
one
couple
off
fresh
game,
wide
sling.
receivers. Yeah, hitting five on a one-off game. Yeah, I could see that happening.
It was hard for me to leave Trevor Lawrence off that list, but I'm just thinking about the odds here and the schedule, dude. And yeah, Gino really got a good shot at that too, especially with the weapons they got. Good night. They're loaded, dude.
I, I got another interesting one for you. The highest total passing yards in the regular season. Does anyone get over 5,300 passing yards?
Eventually, we're gonna see Pat do what he did in college. He's gonna get right back up to around that number, if not 6,000, dude. I can see that happening. Not this year though. I don't think nobody does it this year.
Yeah, I'd bet the under on 5,300 too. That's another
Yeah.
-110 bet. So for season long, we like to avoid the 110 bets. We like a little bit more value for a season long bet, but it's not a terrible way to go if that's the way you tend to go. And uh, I think it's an interesting one.
No, for sure. Without a doubt. And there's been a lot of these bets that I've been seeing here that are really a good value here. Like me, I would take certain bets on teams that I know are heading to the dumpster fire in certain situations, just because why not take advantage? Uh,
Right.
like betting on the Cardinals to make the playoffs, you put a little 10 on that, or whatever whatever the odds may be. I'm gonna try to find it on here because I'm pretty sure we could do something like that. The app is wide open. People is versatile. This
Ooh,
MGM app lets you go
there's
from top to bottom.
absolutely no way. Yeah, there's absolutely no way I'm going to Cardinals making the playoffs. That sounds
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying. Like I could
uh,
make
I
that
don't
bet
I don't
all
care how
day.
much money you offer me. That's probably 1,000,000 to 1 odds right now. Which teams
Oh,
with the most regular season wins? These are going to be the teams with the most regular season wins. We've got Chiefs plus 500, Bengals plus 700, Eagles plus 700, Bills plus 1,000, 49ers plus 1,200,
good night.
Ravens plus 1,400.
Good night.
Another interesting one that has some value maybe is the Jaguars at plus 1,600.
Now that's the pick right there. I like the
Yeah,
Baltimore too,
because
though. I can't lie.
who for the most wins? I
Yeah,
don't like them for the most
it, it,
wins.
it could happen.
Too tough of a
It could
division.
sneak around and happen. No, yeah, for sure. I'm just saying it could happen because I didn't hear you say Pittsburgh or nothing like that. So you gotta go with what we're going with. But of course, it's gonna be Kansas City. Uh,
Yeah, with the plus 500.
yeah,
And
the Bills are
I do
definitely.
like the Jags with the plus 1,600. Now, you did have them at 14-3 at one point. So that
Yeah,
could be strong enough. Even at 13-4, that might be strong enough to really compete for that number one overall.
for sure.
Ooh,
I think that the Jacksonville Jaguar schedule will allow it, and I think that Lawrence's play will just show the way. Really,
they
matter of
are
fact, I'm
offering
almost. Oh no! I was gonna say because I see we was talking about Jacksonville. Not to cut you off, there's a bet on here Jacksonville to start 5-0 plus 1400. The reason why I wouldn't bet that is because I believe
Ooh,
they play Kansas City in the first five. If I didn't know the schedule, that
yeah,
would be a bet that would grab me.
yeah, I could see that being a little entertaining.
Hmm. And they got the
Let's
Chiefs
check
odds
this
to win
out.
all the division games at plus 600, which would be another bet I'd put a unit on. Why not?
Oh, I found you another free money bet. I
Okay.
really like this one. Free money bet. Here we go. It's another Giants, Jets, Ravens bet here that we have
Okay.
becoming fans of. But it is all set to win at least 8 regular season games.
Oh yeah. Where
Plus
did you see
200.
that? I gotta add that to
It's
my
only
slip.
plus 200, but I like
Still,
that one.
I'd put 2 units on that just to give it a little extra.
Yeah, I wonder
That'd
if
be
you can parlay that other parlay with it, and make that a little sweeter. Because if you're picking them all to pick the playoffs, you might as well add this bet to it with a plus 200. And yeah, that's a real nice because they got to hit 8 wins. I like that one. It's going to be regular season wins 8 plus parlay. That is a nice one.
yeah,
That's
dude.
really the
I
only
need
one I
that.
like that they're offering. I don't really like the Falcons, Bears, Browns. I maybe the Dolphins, Saints, Jets, and Seahawks. That's another interesting one. I wonder why it had to be 4 teams for that one. That's crazy.
Yeah,
It's the
that's what
only
I'm
thing I
looking
don't
at too. I finally found it here. That Panthers, man. I wouldn't touch anything that got them in it.
like. No, it's got bad juju written all over it.
All over it. See now, like I said, that other intriguing one here, is Dylan Stickler is the Titans. Well, no, that's actually bad odds. Now that I see my screen's clearing up, that's actually about negative 120. You want to leave that alone because the Titans are going to be terrible. I
Right.
think the world knows it. So there's that. Falcons, yeah, I don't like that. Commanders, Buccaneers, and Steelers, no. But yeah, Giants, Jets, and Ravens, dude, all to record 8 plus wins. That is the ticket. You're not lying. That's probably the best thing going in that situation. Might have to add that to the slip and
Right.
review upon later terms. um, yeah, I like see the Falcons. See, I'm gonna have to do some individual things with these Falcons. I think they're a 10-win team, but I just don't like when you got to parlay them with the Bills and Bengals, who I don't think is gonna do nothing. That's the hard part
Here
about it.
goes.
And most,
I got an interesting one for all the kicking fans. The longest made field goal in the regular season. Do we see a field goal of 62 yards over or under? 62 is
I
some
will
distance.
I will bet the under. I don't think nobody's doing that yet, unless
Yeah,
somehow
because
more you clone
there's
Morton
only like
Anderson and Sebastian Janikowski together.
yeah, there's only a handful of guys in the league that really contend for that 62-foot range. Tucker, butt
But
kicker.
yeah,
Yeah, he can get out there. There's a couple guys that could reach that, but I mean, you really got to be in a crazy position to be attempting it. Now, Tucker
I'm
does.
trying to
They
say.
will allow Tucker to attempt a 62 one, and they're not very shy about it.
No, because he's been the best kicker in the game, easily the last 6 years.
Hmm.
Easily, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
That's
for
that
sure.
Baltimore sitting on a gym with that, dude. Yeah, he can go get you three when you need it. So at least you got that in the back pocket.
Right. Yeah, I like that.
Let's- I like the. It's only plus 500, but I like the Kansas City Chiefs to start 5-0 bet. That might be worth the unit.
5-0. I would be all over that if the Jones situation was figured out. If we knew he was going to be there, I'd be all about it.
He's gonna be there. I'm
Let's
telling you, he's
talk a
not
little
gonna be
Joe
standing by.
Burrow. You,
You talking about somebody if they're gonna be there?
he's let's
Isn't
for
he's still on the
the
sideline?
MVP award is plus 600.
No, he's gonna miss too much time unless he comes back and he comes back like playoff ready, Joe Burrow. Because if not, that thing is walking away with somebody who's about to win it back to back, and his name is
Mm.
Project Pat.
What about AP Offensive Rookie of the Year? This would be a
Oh, that's gonna be
interesting
C.J.
one.
Stroud.
They've
I've
got
already
CJ
I,
Stroud. It's a pretty good value bet too at a plus 850.
either him or my boy the wide receiver was in Jackson Smith Nigba. My boy, he was getting off already in the preseason.
And
So he's
he's the guy right below CJ Stroud at plus 1200.
I would go with either one of those two.
The top selections are going to be Bijan Robinson at a plus 250. And
Huh.
you've got Bryce Young at plus 450
Yawn.
and
They're gonna be over 17.
Anthony Richardson with a plus 700.
Okay, now that one might be interesting. Like I said, dude, the jury's still out on him too. Because if he can do some things in Indianapolis, dude, they say he the real
Right.
deal. They liking it. They loving it. They want more of it. So we gonna
Yeah,
see,
they're
man.
big fans of what's going on there. Not like those. Zay Flowers with a nice plus 2,000. That's got some value to it
That's a
too, I
long
think.
shot.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
getting kind of out there. And another one that I like is the AP Defensive Rookie of the Years. And I think there's going to be a lot of value in Jalen Carter at a plus 650. He could be a real interesting guy, I think.
yeah, more than likely. Because you know what, man? Maybe Joey Porter Jr. Maybe he's a corner.
Ooh.
He's a stealer. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. I like Joey Porter Jr. He might sneak in and make it happen.
Oh,
Uh,
I do not
what is
have
he on the
him on
list?
the. He is not. Oh no, I do see him.
No.
Let me Joey Porter
Okay.
Jr. My bad. Plus 3,000. Very kind of.
Oh,
He was pretty far down there, but
no.
there is definitely some people
Yeah.
below him. Another interesting one that's above him for a plus 2,000, so slightly more likely, but just as dreamy, is Kansas City Chiefs defensive end. They drafted Felix and Duque. Said that anywhere close to right, but
Oh yeah.
he's
Yeah. I know
slightly
you're talking
higher
about.
odds than Joey Porter Jr.
And you know what? I didn't like the pick, so prove me
Yeah.
wrong, Kansas City. We talked about that, so there's that. Um, Let me catch up to where you at here. See some of
Ooh,
these
you want
odds
to
are
see
set
what they call a slam dunk? This is their
for
slam
sure.
dunk of the future odds. And
Okay.
really, if you're gonna bet heavy money and feel comfortable about betting heavy money, I like this one a lot. It's going to be the AP Comeback Player of the Year.
Ooh, and I
They have
already know
DeMar
in my
Hamlin.
mind.
They have DeMar Hamlin at minus 275. So you got to bet
Well,
$300 to make $100, but it's a nice 33% return on your money when you do that. It's a risky thing, but the next closest guy is going to be plus 2,000 with Tua. And then you've got Russell Wilson.
Where is Lamar Jackson on the list?
He is actually a plus 2,000. A lot of respect um, for Lamar. Mac Jones with a plus 8,000.
Give it to
Cooper
my
Cup.
boy Mac Man. Yeah. Playoff
No,
Mac.
no,
What's the
it
odds
is.
on that? You said
I
what?
feel
I
better
gotta
about
see the
Baker Mayfield than I do about Mac Jones making a
dude. You
comeback.
put $10 on that with Mac Jones, you make $810.
You ain't making nothing because it's going to be Damar Hamlin, and we all know it.
Ooh,
That is,
it better not be Damar Hamlin. If he plays just one game, they're gonna let him get it.
yeah,
That
that's why
sucks.
you can't touch that one. That is it is Damar Hamlin. All he's got to do. I don't even know if he's actually got to play. Like him just showing up dressed up
Him
in
just showing up, suiting up, right? That's
right.
man.
Let that boy touch the
Yeah.
field, guaranteed. It's just like when Alex Smith made it back. There was
Well, at
there
least
was
he played some.
no yeah. You see what I'm saying? There's no way they're letting him.
You're right. You're exactly right. And that's unfortunate because they're definitely gonna give it to him. There is no doubt about it, which is gonna suck. Well, so we got that out the way, folks. Comeback player of the year. Let me find options. Well, what we looking
Right.
like for defensive player of the year? Because I'm almost willing to put money on Aaron Donald just because he's always almost a safe bet, unless T.J. Watt got a better odd. Because matter of fact, he should be. Is he in the running for comeback player of the year? Was he
Who
on
is
the
that?
list? T.J. Watt. Was he on
Uh,
that list?
let me double check. Show more. He's not high on the odds.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. TJ. Flying past some names. Got Von Miller at a plus 8,000.
Yawn. Yawn Miller.
Keenan Allen at a plus 8,000. Nicole
Yawn.
Hardman plus 10,000. Where
Yawn.
I feel like uh, he's got to be high. He's got to be way higher than. Here he goes, plus 5,000. I was gonna say, there's just no way he's not on this list. That's an interesting
Right.
one. Uh,
That's
Calvin
how they
Ridley
got
is
him.
also a plus 5,000. Shout out Calvin Ridley, actually
All
being
right.
mentioned.
Well,
Not anywhere close to the high. Surprisingly, Trey Lance is listed kind of high. I feel like that's a terrible bet at this
yeah,
point.
because when Purdy go ahead and prove to be paper mache, man, they gonna bring in Trey Lance.
Right.
Well, all right. So if that's the case, I think we need to take a look at who's gonna be the AP Coach of the Year. And I know now I'm seeing the odds here. My ballot would go to Sir Pete Carroll. I think for some reason what he gonna do with the
Yeah,
Seahawks is gonna be nothing short but spectacular.
I can see that happening. They had a real strong draft. It was very impressive. Might give him some more recognition that he's kind of lacking, I would say.
Yeah,
What
dude,
about
he needs more respect.
league MVP? Who is the most valuable player? They have Joe Burrow slightly ahead of Sir Patrick Mahomes at a plus 600 versus a plus 650.
Well, it's Patrick Mahomes. He's getting it back to back, especially on the he's getting back to back chips, back to back MVPs, and then Travis Kelsey's going to win Super Bowl MVP to solidify his legacy. And also, you heard it here first. I've been feeling it in my soul. It's time to go out and say it. Travis Kelsey will be the NFL Offensive Player of the Year with at least
Yeah, I
two
mean, it
thousand
could
yards receiving.
happen. Another
Bold
couple
2000.
interesting, right, super bold. All right, leaping out of the chair with that one.
I'm going with it.
Let's see some another dark horse, guys. We've got Aaron Rodgers at plus 1,600. Other guys in that plus 1600 range is going to be Tua, T Law, and Dak Prescott. Uh, Lamar Jackson slightly higher with a plus 1400. I like the Jalen Hurts at plus 1100. He was well on his path last year.
I disagree. Like I said, man, the schedule was so easy. I'm not saying the dude can't ball. I'm not saying that at all. But dude, this is a proven year for Jalen Hurts. Y'all already paid him. He took you to the Super Bowl on the easy schedule. Let's see what he do with a hard schedule. That's all I ask. Same thing with
Ooh,
Sir Brock Purdy and them coming up. Let's see what you do with competition. Don't just beat up the lesser teams in the NFL and in the NFC, and let's not all break out they're doing the same thing for the 49ers and them like they was doing with the Bills. You give them too much credit too soon. It's just it's too much. Philadelphia deserves respect just because they've been to three Super Bowls in what, like the last 6 years, 7 years. They've been the most consistent NFC team in the Super Bowl in the last few years. They come to mind, so I give them some respect. But like I said, we're gonna see what they do with a harder schedule this year.
yeah, and some other interesting names to look at for MVP that I thought was real, that just really stood out for me. And I'm about to say some really offensive things, I think.
Mm.
So, for some reason, let's start out with some good news. Let's start with the good news. They've got Geno Smith at plus 3,000. I think that's another high value bet if you want to do a dark horse one. But let's talk about who's not a dark horse. They have Jordan Love at plus 5,000. The other quarterbacks at plus 5,000 are going to be Kenny Pickett and Matthew Stafford and Kirk Cousins.
Ooh,
I
ooh.
don't think Jordan Love belongs in the conversation with any of those quarterbacks
Vegas
except
knows
for
something we don't know.
maybe Kenny Pickett. And then there's some
Hold on
real
now.
let's also talk about how they have Daniel Jones so much lower at plus 6600 than Jordan Love. If I was going to be a betting man, I'd bet on Daniel Jones before I did Jordan Love.
I get it, but the Green Bay schedules it is kind of easy. We're just expecting them to lose a lot of games because, we got to see the Jordan Love project. That's the only reason. That's the only thing that's out on the jury. Now, if he comes in finely tuned, athletic machine, ready to go, which I think he might be, Green Bay could easily be a 10-win team, maybe 11, maybe.
Maybe.
It's a tall task. It's a tall order.
Now,
Ooh,
I finally
but
made it down all the way down this list before we found a non-quarterback to win MVP. We we had some scrolling going on before we listed a good 20 quarterbacks, including Mac Jones and Daniel Jones, before we made it to a
man,
quarterback or to a non-quarterback. The first non-quarterback is going to be Christian McCaffrey at plus 8,000, which
good
is
night.
interesting. I think the next non-quarterback, which is the same as Kyler Murray, same odds as Kyler Murray and Trey Lance, is going to be Justin Jefferson. I think it's an insult
Ooh.
to him to be in that category. I think it's much more likely Justin Jefferson wins MVP than Kyler Murray or Trey Lance, and realistically, even Mac Jones and probably Daniel Jones. But
Hold on now. I don't know about that. Vanilla Vic, he got better stats than Jalen. So there's that.
yeah, but Justin Jefferson's got like all-time legendary wide
Yeah,
receiver
because
numbers.
he Kirk Cousins. He probably now he could have did
I
that with
mean,
Daniel Jones.
he probably could do it with Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Daniel Jones need a weapon. He just needed somebody to catch that rocket. That's all.
This is another dark horse one that I like. Is Tyreek Hill at plus 12,500?
Who is that? Who is Tyreek Hill?
12,000. He's
Are
going to
you
go for
kidding me?
2,000 yards this season.
No, he's not. He's not going for anything.
Here
He's
goes a
just
fan
another
favorite.
guy.
Let's do a fan
Mhm.
favorite. Travis Kelsey plus 15,000. Could
No,
he
that's it.
walk away with an MVP title?
No, they're not gonna give it to a tight end. If they did, he'd be the one who deserved it. But that's why they'll give him Offensive Player of the Year because they won't give him MVP. But he'll get
Right.
Offensive Player of the Year, especially because shit. At this point, you can argue he's better than Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, all them. Travis Kelsey's the best skilled player in the NFL, in my opinion. His stats show it. You show me anybody else who's racking up 1,000 yard seasons.
Is the most consistent for sure.
For sure.
AP
Mr. Reliable. And not to mention he's got the best
player
playoff receiving records in
of the
history.
year, offensive players with the best odds. Jamar Chase with the best odds, plus 1,000. Then you got Justin Jefferson, CMC at plus 1,500, Tyreek Hill 1,800, Lamar Jackson
Yawn.
plus 2,000. First
Yeah,
quarterback
that's a
listed.
good bet. That's a good bet.
It was kind of
My boy
interesting.
Yamar. But it's Travis Kelsey.
Wow.
It's gonna be.
We had to go. We had to go all the way down to get Patrick Mahomes at plus 2,500.
Ooh.
AP Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, which
Didn't
is
he
wild
get
to
that
me because
last
these
year
are the
too?
quarterbacks. This is disrespectful. This is the. I'm not sure. Maybe you'll check on that for me. But these are the quarterbacks they have listed higher odds to win, or higher on the list to win AP Offensive Player of the Year. They have Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields, and Lamar Jackson, all listed in front of Patrick Mahomes.
Of course. They don't believe in the goats.
It's very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Justin
Let's
Jefferson.
see, let's see some Derrick Henry with a plus 4,000. If he has a monster year, I could see him possibly getting it.
It's gonna have to. They ain't got no quarterback still. What that boy named Malik or who they draft? No, they drafted somebody else, didn't they?
Ooh, Isaiah
Some
Pacheco.
dude who put mayonnaise in his coffee.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that story. That was the most disturbing thing I've ever heard in my life.
Man,
Oh dear Lord.
good night.
Mike Evans with no respect. I mean, I guess
Well, would you
happened
put
big.
respect on Mike Evans' name? Nobody worried about
He's been
him.
pretty consistent.
He Keenan Allen, except for a little help there.
Mm.
Put
Can't
him in the
believe they gave
Philip
Kareem
game.
Hunt some odds.
Man, he's still
Ooh,
on. He ain't even on the
MVS.
team yet,
Here at
huh?
the bottom. Yeah,
One of my
MVS
boys.
plus 25,000.
All right. Well,
Kareem's. I scrolled.
yeah.
It was pretty low. I scrolled right past it. It's
He's
probably in
not
that plus
nice.
20,000 category. You know, it was pretty low. I
Doggone
missed it.
shame.
Um,
He should be a champion.
Oh, there he goes. Plus 25,000. Yeah, it's
Mm-mm.
pretty long, pretty wild. There's some interesting bets there, though. You know, if you look at it, break it down, I think there's a lot of
Oh yeah.
possibilities.
There's a lot of possibilities of making money here. I filled up my bet slip. Like I said, for further review, and I see a couple of things that are intriguing, especially as far as
What were
making some good
your
money here.
what was your most intriguing make some money bets? Which were the
The
ones that ended up on the bet slip?
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna give the folks everything, but the ones that I'm gonna give them here, the ones we've gone over here, I like the Giants, Jets, and Ravens all to get 8+ wins. I like one of my ones I put on here, Pete Carroll for Coach of the Year. I like. Let me go back here.
There was that Jets, Giants, and I
I was
forget
just
the
about to
third
say the
team
beginning
for
for the playoffs. Yeah, Jets,
the
Giants, and
playoffs.
Ravens for
Yeah,
the playoffs.
yeah, Ravens for the playoffs. I like that one too. That one was real strong, and you got to kind of dig deep in the futures bets to really find some gold. There's not a crazy amount of value there, but I think we found a few that we would highly recommend.
Even one that's a sleeper. If you got an extra unit to just give out, just in case it didn't work out, but it possibly could. T.J. Watt, Defensive Player of the Year. It could happen. He was on the tear
Yeah,
last year before injury, so just keep an eye out on that. Just keep an eye out. That's all I'm saying.
yeah. I think those three teams to win +8 to get 8 wins is probably my favorite bet of the night. I like that one even
Oh
more than the
yeah,
playoffs. I feel like that's the easiest one to accomplish. So that's going to be our best value bet of the evening for MGM Sports. And we will be bringing you each week a quick little segment on which games of the week we think are the best value to really kind of hammer, kind of put some money in your pocket, make a few units. It's what we try to do here.
yeah. That's all. Like I said, we're not gonna get rich overnight, but we can make you a little comfortable. Put it
Right.
that way. And ladies and
Exactly.
gentlemen, boys and girls, always, always, always gamble responsibly and legally in your areas, please.
Right. Absolutely.
But
Well,
sure bets though, we'll go over a few more here. We'll get more into it, especially as the season goes, because this thing is fluid, and we'll see how much it changes here, and we'll see how much these games start to matter to certain teams, which may change a certain few bet odds. So we shall see.
yep. Absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see how they line up after week 1 or 2. Those are the best value weeks for the NFL. So definitely tune in for week
Yeah.
1 and 2. I think that'll really kind of highlight our ability to put you on some good money, some good value bets too.
Right, because we'll go over next time some divisional bets because they got that option on here. Pick who you think is going to win the division. Lock it in while the odds are good. Like I said, just put a unit on it. $10. You ain't got to do too much. But there's some sure bets out there that you can put your unit on that'll return your money. Kansas City winning the West. Jacksonville winning the South. The Giants winning. And I can almost even go as far as to say the Saints winning the South. So we'll talk about it more as we go on, but we'll talk about it. Mr. KC, you want to add something on top of that?
I think that's good for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the betting sections. And next week, I think we might break down betting formulas and terminology for you guys to give you a nice introductory how to place a bet and what you're actually looking at and stuff like that.
Exactly. Get to know what you're getting into.
Yeah, because it's important to know beforehand. Absolutely.
Exactly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we thank y'all for being with us tonight. I'm the dude with the beard. He's Mr. KC from the A13. We're gonna catch you later. Why?
Money, money, money.